question. This is hard. Yeah, it's hard because you have to, is that wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that? Is that your first wave? Is that your first wave? That's the question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that your first wave? Or is it a 1 and then your first wave, that's your first wave? And you have a 2 and you start your third wave. Your third wave consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your third wave. So there's a difference here, isn't it, in the way the waves begin and end, in that in this circumstance, this is the 0 going to the end of the 1. And we've only just begun the 3 here for a 2 to the 3. This is the beginning of the 3. And that the whole thing was the wave 1. Or was that your wave 1? And this whole next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was the 3. Or you could do the same thing. You can say, well, in the same way that I've done it, that was your 1. That's your 1. And we've only just begun the 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in the 5 now. Type thing. Yeah, like 1. It's quite impulsive. 1 to 1, wave 1, and another wave 1. That's the 1 of 3. That's the 3 of 3. And you have the 5 of 3, which ended in the last bull market. That whole thing from there to there was your wave 3. So basically your wave 3 lasted a good part of 10 years. 10 years. And now, since the bear market bottom of 22, we're in a wave 5. This is kind of where I'm at right now, to be honest with you. This is where I'm at. I actually think this, for me, this makes a lot more sense than anything else. This is kind of where I'm at. It's all subjective. I'm not 100%. Okay. It's all subjective because the price just keeps on going up. You could draw this so many different ways. Christoph, welcome. The market is shit again today. I haven't really looked in the market yet, but I'm going to have a look. Hey, T13. Can you do Node AI, GPU, nice tokenomics, good narrative, GPU is no oil, GPU. Oh. Hey, I've got a few more people here. Amazing. Welcome. Welcome, Christoph. Welcome, T13. Welcome back, T13. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. So what do you want me to do? Wrap this up quickly and focus on something else? Or you want me to finish what I'm kind of like doing right now? I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I prefer this right now. I kind of think that maybe we're in a wave 5 now of this whole first wave. Ultimately, this is the whole thing is a first wave. And we're in the last wave. It's kind of where I'm at. My mind is at right now. I'm still there. Like I've done so many iterations and versions of this to try and make sense of the whole thing, not just the last part. And in my mind, I'm thinking that was quite impulsive. Then you have these big 3 waves, with the first one being the most impulsive. And then you're coming down for another wave, which is your final wave, your final 5 of this whole big move, this whole Bitcoin move. That will bring Bitcoin to a climax, this last bit here. Now, if that is the case, let's just focus on this last wave then. This is your wave 5. How do you draw that out? Well, for that, I'll probably go to my Bybit chart and have a look here, because I've done Elliott waves on that too. And you're basically starting at the bear market low, which was somewhere in November 22. And again, you're just counting waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, correction. Now, then you're drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be your wave 3. Another A, B, C correction. Then you're doing another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That ends your wave 1. So what's going on now? Are we in another wave? Yeah. Or the way you can imagine this is, could that just be the 1? and we still haven't completed this last wave. Yeah. Or are we still in the 3? That's your 1. 1, 2. I'll explain. If I ignore this, if you ignore this purple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's your 1, 2, 3. This is the 5, and we're still in the 3. And we still have a 5 to go. And so effectively, you're looking at a kind of a different kind of setup here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to complete your final wave. Like that type thing. So we're still in the 3, actually. We're still at the end of the 3, but this is the 5 of the 3, the final bit of the last 3 before we go into a little 4, and then we get the final last push, which is the 5 to complete this. Yeah, actually, you know what, my mind is here. Just looking at it right now, my mind is here. I'm looking at this. I think that was your first impulsive wave correction, ABC. Then you have your first 5 waves, which is your wave 1, but it's the 1 of the 3. Then you have the correction. Then you have the 3 of the 3 correction. Then you have the 5 of the 3 correction. And then you have the 5, which is just going to be bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight up, kind of like this first one. So in my mind, I'm thinking that the 3 has 5 distinctive correct waves, 3 distinctive impulsive waves, 2 distinctive corrective waves, which we have experienced, haven't we? Correction, correction. And so I still think we're in the 3, but we're at the tail end of the 3, bringing us to the end of the 5. Then we'll have another corrective move, and then we can have this kind of last blow off impulsive 5 waves up, and then that's it. That's where my mind is at right now. Honestly, that's really where I'm at. Just looking at the whole of the charts and just kind of coming to this point, just looking at the index, just looking at everything. Unless something changes, this is where I'm at. All right. So how do we know if this is correct? Well, invalidations are really important. And the only way to know is if pivot lows are taken. And this actually makes sense, because if you look at the blue one that I've just drawn, you see that's the top of the 1, and the 4 can't come underneath the top of the 1, and it doesn't, does it? So technically that blue wave is actually making sense. So we're in the 5 right now, and of the 5 we've just experienced the first wave, haven't we? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've just had the first wave, and now we're in a corrective wave. So now I'm expecting the 3 of the 5, and then the 5 of the 5. All right, so I'm kind of, this is literally where I'm at right now, and it makes sense because we've had our 1, and now we're still in the 3, but we're actually in the 5 of the 3, which is where we're at now. We've already had the first wave, so the next wave, if I'm right, should be the 3 of the 5 of the 3. Can you wrap your mind around that? So it's the 3 of the 5 of the 3, and then you have the 4 of the 5 of the 3, the 5 of the 5 of the 3, then you go into the 4 of the 5, and you go into the 1 of the 5 of the 5. So it kind of goes up. It's like a hierarchy, right? So this is kind of where I'm at, which will bring us to the end of all of this. That's the climax of the whole thing. Because ultimately, once that completes, and I'm not always right, okay? So don't quote me on this. It's all entertainment, isn't it? Entertainment value only. But potentially, that will bring an end to this, to what I've been imagining since the beginning, although I haven't been charting it since the beginning. And that would be your 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the end of the last bull market for a 4. And then we're in the 5 now, which will bring us to the end of this. That will take us to wherever this ends, and then we'll be in a real correction now. And honestly, I possibly think the correction could last 2 years, a bit longer than people expect. Yeah, just because this market has been so bullish for such a long period of time, according to this, 15 years. And then I think possibly we're looking at a corrective move, could be 2 years, just to kind of fill the volume at these higher prices before we really get into the wave 3 that will be the wave 3, and that will take us to crazy prices potentially, because that will be the next, that will probably be mass adoption of crypto, or Bitcoin goes to zero. I mean, who knows? Like, no one really knows what's going to happen next. No one really knows. So let's just go back to the current Elliott wave. So I've kind of got to this point now, haven't I? I've just kind of gone around in a little bit of a circle, just looking at my other charts, just kind of having a look, giving a little bit of commentary on what I'm seeing and what I can imagine in the future. I kind of like this still, what I did before. You've got this red one here to there. Then you started this blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is good. Makes perfect sense because we don't drop underneath there. I like that. And so right now I'm looking at where we are now. I see that we've had a little bit of an impulsive move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe up to that point there. Let me just mark this out. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do you mark this out? Let's zoom in a little bit more. Behind that purple. So kind of this is where we're at. The one there, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5 again is breaking up into 5 waves. Now, do you know what? It is always possible, and I just want to just mention this. It's always possible that this is it. Yeah, I just want you to be aware. So there is a very clear invalidation here, and it's here. If for reasons that I can't explain and I don't understand, the price of Bitcoin invalidates this as a continuation, as wave 1 of a continuation, then it means that that was the end. That was your end. And so then that was that. And then actually this is actually more of a 4 correction. And then you're looking at a more kind of like a muted 5. Yeah. So there are ways to interpret this if things happen. There are trigger points, which there are invalidations which could change the outcome of what I'm. So I'm looking at a really bullish scenario here, but a less bullish, a more bearish scenario would be invalidating that low. Okay, that would be a very clear invalidation of a continuation for this to just be the wave 1 of a 5 wave move. That means that this 5 wave move that we've just experienced, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, is the end. It's probably to there. Just looking at the impulsiveness. 1, so it's kind of like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. That's your move. Okay? And that would be your end of your move. But I'm not looking at it like that. I'm still thinking for upside, mainly fundamentally because of the fundamentals. You know, it looks like the wars have kind of come to a wrap. It looks like quantitative easing is back on the table. Money printing is going to happen. Interest rates are coming down. There's a lot of kind of fundamental factors that are probably going to give us a nice run, hopefully to the end of the year. A lot of people are thinking up till September, but actually I'm not. I'm thinking maybe we have like a pullback in September, but then we have a really nice rally from October through to November and December, right to the end of the year. That's kind of what's in my imagination right now. You have invalidations, clear invalidations of what could happen. So for me right now, this is a clear invalidation. If the price of Bitcoin goes all the way down underneath 74k, then clearly we're in a much more muted bull run, and it would have a massive impact on the future. Okay, right now I'm feeling really quite bullish. Why? Because we're underneath the all-time high. It looks like we're consolidating, even though I do probably think we will pull back. And right now I'm just like looking at this. Let's try and count a little bit. Let's just see if we can count these waves. We're looking for impulsive waves from pivot lows. There's your first pivot there. It's your first impulse. So it could be corrective, and that could be your first impulse. So there are options here, but probably this one, actually, just looking at it, just because this correction comes underneath there. Let's go, so let's just say that's still one. It's a tricky one here because that comes underneath it. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because that's clearly a corrective move here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that makes sense. So actually, it's to there. There's your 1. Maybe something like this. I'm going to have to revise it. Let me just revise it a little bit and change the color. So you have your 1. Let's zoom in a little bit to try and see if I can count properly. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you kind of like what you're looking for waves. Maybe wave 1, wave 3, wave 5. Something like that. Yeah. Like a 5-wave correction here. Yeah. And you have your impulse. This is like another 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as your first wave correction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Yep. One, two, three, four. Kind of messy, but yeah. So you got like 5 waves in that wave 3, kind of, just to take us to that pivot point there, which was the all-time high. That makes sense, doesn't it? To impulse to a new all-time high, and then correction. C's, ABCs, like a 5-wave correction. Then you have your last kind of impulsive wave, wave 1, correction, wave 3, correction. Oh, kind of shitty impulsive. That's kind of a way I'm have it right now for a final 5 to there. Which means we're correcting, doesn't it? It doesn't it? A, B, C. It's kind of what it means, doesn't it? A little bit. And that is assuming that was your wave 1 over. Now I could have got this wrong. This correction could have started here. And that's your first impulse, and this is a first corrective. We'd have to see how this plays out, because we'd have to see more of a little bit of a consolidation here with some really bullish divergences to kind of think differently. Whatever happens, I possibly think, because this here is a V-shaped recovery. I'm looking at it now. here. That's a V shape. We've come into the 50 fib. So this is nice, actually. This is really nice. If we just consolidate here and we just can't go under, then possibly it's more like this, ABC, and then actually the 5 ended up there somehow. So I've miscounted this. How would I have miscounted this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Correction. It's hard. It's weird. Don't know. Don't think so. I don't think I've miscounted it, but I don't know 100%. Unless, let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, this for me, this looks like 5 waves. Wave 1, wave 3, final 5. And where does it go to? The way to check is with fib extensions. Let me just do some checking here to see if I'm right. Hold on. Fib extension tool. Amazing. I look at that. That 1.618 lands perfectly on that blue, whatever that blue is. On that 618. Wow. How far does this go? To the 2. Oh wow. Look at that. So just based off that first wave, the third wave took us to the 1 to 2. Right there. Look at that. Amazing. So that gives you a little bit of confirmation about these ratios, and you've got the pivot points right. Just with a fib extension, just getting this first wave is really important. If you get this first wave right, then it gives you some indications about, look, you see that 1.618, that was a perfect confluence with the 618 on the higher time frame. And then this move actually took us to the 1 to 2 here perfectly. Look at that, perfect. So that these ratios are right. That for me gives me confirmation that that was the end of the 3. That was what I was thinking. So, and this, look, this comes all the way back to the 1.272. Now there's probably something else here that's giving us a little bit of indication about how far it returned. Let me just check this. It's a shade over the 382. Look, oh my god, 382, perfect tap for the final impulse. See that? Which was also corresponding to 1.272. So it came all the way back to the 382, which was this corrective move here. It's like a 5-wave correction, and then bounce for the final impulse. The final impulse. See that? So there's really good ratios here in these Elliott waves. Yeah. So it's just something to bear in mind. I think that's probably the end of the first wave. It actually happened at the 10th of June. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's probably your first wave. Okay. Now we're in a corrective move. And the question now is, what kind of correction are we in? Are we in a kind of like a flatter correction right now? Or these lines are important because they're obviously being respected. Are we in a flatter correction? I think if that's the end of the 5 there. Okay, right there. Do a bit of fib time now on this correction. We go to a slightly higher time frame. do that again. There's a little bit of deception here, I think. Yeah. Looks like the market is bullish, but actually I'm thinking no. Maybe not. Oh, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. What we want to see is an ABC pattern, right? That would be a front run of the 1-to-1. And that's really what we want to see. A clean sweep of the lows there. Don't we? A nice ABC corrective move like that. No, it's not really a zigzag. It's more of a flat, but kind of a wide flat. I'm assuming this 1-to-1 on these pivots is a little bit front run. See that? By literally a day or two, 1.5 days. Yeah, I'm assuming that kind of landed correctly on the 1-to-1, which is that line there. See that? I'm assuming that's correct. So fib time is the areas of time. They're not exact digits. So the higher you zoom out, the more accurate they seem. Okay, and there's a really nice 12-hour reversal pattern there on those candles. So I am thinking that could be a kind of like a local top there without taking out that high. So there's a little bit of liquidity there, isn't there? Look, that was the all-time high. Slightly lower, isn't it? When I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that there's a little bit of liquidity there that hasn't been reached because you're putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So unless we get a swing failure without taking the all-time high, then I'll probably be expecting something more like this than this, probably. So who knows? Like, no one really knows what's going to happen, but I am thinking that we're putting in a local top here for another move down, for a corrective move like this type thing. And let me just use fib time again. I'll use it on the 12-hour time frame. Get rid of that one. So a 1-to-1 on that fib time will bring us to the second week of July. But like a much more slower descent, probably in the third week of a 1.618 would bring us down to the third week of July. So there's a week gap there. And then what you're looking for potentially is just a sweep of that low. Probably a sweep of that low all the way down maybe to 96. Shit, it's quite lower. I mean, look, what I'm seeing here is a V-shaped recovery, right? There's your V. All right. Without taking the highs and holding above the highs, usually V-shaped recoveries pull back down to the 50 fib, usually, don't they? So I'm just talking about probabilities now. And that would actually bring us all the way down to 91k. Wow. Can you imagine? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. That would be an extended, what's that called? What kind of flat correction is that called? Let me just go into Discord and see if I can find it, because I know Altcoin Dreaming posted some stuff. And if you go into my Discord, the link is below. There's lots of information here that Altcoin Dreaming has posted, Learning Zone. And one of them is on Elliott waves. So let me find it. It's always good to look at these cheat sheets, yeah, because we can't remember everything. Elliott Wave cheat sheet, see that? So you can come to my Discord, come into these channels. I chat sometimes. I've been away, haven't I? So naturally, because I've been away, I haven't really been active, but I'm back. So I am a little bit more active now, especially when it comes to posting divergences, because I'm quite good at that. And so here, this is a really good cheat sheet on Elliott waves. And what you're looking for is the corrections. So that's a zigzag, look, zigzag, double zigzag, triple zigzag. See, that's a regular flat, irregular flat, running flat, which is a higher flat, contracting triangle, expanding triangle. Not a zigzag. They don't have the one that I think. It's a flat, but it goes down. It goes down twice as far. Because you've got a real bad drop off here. A real sell off. But actually you're just coming back into I'm not 100%, huh? But the timings are very clear, huh? The timings are very clear. We're looking at the 2nd or the 3rd week of July. And I'm actually thinking the bottom comes in the 3rd week of July. I'm thinking like this. I don't know if it's going to be there or there. And so in my mind, I'm thinking to take that low or to come much lower. And then let me just have a look at some other lines. I mean, you've got a big support zone here, and this is the thing. You've got a big support zone here. So it is possible that we just have something like this, like an inverse head and shoulders here, just because we'd have to see real bullish divergences at the low of this range. So we are forming a little bit of a range here. Yeah. And if we come down and we start forming some bullish divergence and we fail to take that low, then actually that might be it by next week or the week after. So I'm giving us about a week and a half, week to week and a half, to see what plays out. But ideally what you want to see is you want to see the price fail to go down and just struggle and put in a higher low here. That would be nice because the timing is correct. Or we want to see a little bit of a free fall all the way down to 91k like this. For a bounce, the bounce will be back into the range. That'll be your first impulse, wouldn't it? That would be a continue. That would be your next impulsive wave. You get back into the range. That's bullish, and then you're going to start riding high. It'll be really bullish then, because then you'll take out that high. It'll be a V-shaped recovery. You'll probably end up consolidating here above the all-time high. That'll be your next wave. You'll be a little bit of consolidation there, and you'll start going up like that. Yeah. So there's a couple of possibilities I'm thinking. I'm thinking down. I'm not thinking up. I'm thinking down. I'm thinking either we kind of put in a higher low here to form an inverse head and shoulders here. Everyone will see that and they'll start buying. And maybe we'll have a breakout. It'll be like an inverse head and shoulders, breakout, back test, and then up. Or we get a drop, shake out a lot of people. This is going to zero, bounce back in the range, and then rally for the next wave. And so there's a couple of things that I'm thinking here at the moment. And actually what we need is a little bit more data. Timing wise, just based on these Elliott waves, I'm thinking we are hitting the top of the B corrective now. And the next kind of major pivot point is obviously going to be this 1-to-1, which is Monday the 14th of July. But depending on what happens, it could be the 1.618, which would be more like this, which is what I've drawn like this. See that? For we lose that low, so we don't get any reaction off that pivot. We lose this area, so it's starting to look really weak, and then we drop down to take out this pivot. But actually what you're doing is you're coming back to test this 50 fib, you're coming back to test this 1.618, you're coming back to test the horizontal channel line at 91k. So I think it's quite an important area with 91k to hold 91k on the back test. Let's just see where the volume is. You're coming back down to test the value area low. You see that? The value area low of this whole range. One more back test, and then you get a reaction there, bounce back over the point of control, and then it starts to pump, and we're in our next wave type thing. So we have a few things going on here. I'm contemplating two options, okay, based on what I'm seeing right now. All right, at the moment I don't think we're just going to go straight up. I mean, look, anyone can be wrong, right? For reasons that I can't explain, the price can always do this. So I'm not thinking it's a high probability. I'm thinking it's less likely. It's more likely now to go down just because of these corrective move that I'm seeing, these counts that I've done. And so right now I'm just thinking if we can either put in a higher low here, or we lose that area, we drop down, we lose that pivot, we lose the point of control, and we're going right down to the value area low to back test this 50 fib, which is 618. That makes sense to me because I'm looking at a V-shaped recovery there. And usually with V-shaped recoveries, you get this kind of channel for a back test of the 50 fib. That's your entry. Bam! This is your entry. For a really nice entry, then you kind of break up, and then you start pumping, and that's your V-shaped recovery. That's kind of where my mind is right now on this. Get everyone really bearish, and then pump, all-time high again, consolidate above the all-time high, and then price discovery. Here we come. That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's going to look really bearish in the next week. That could always have something, you know, like war can always erupt just like that. Travel TRVL soon, $1. Yes, bring it on. Yes, this is what we want. So I've been on this for a little bit. I've been on this for 1 hour. I've been looking at Elliott waves on big BTC. I've been looking at the current chart right now. It's just an opinion, yeah. Entertainment value only, yeah. Don't never just hold true to my predictions, because I could always be wrong. I'm just looking at the order flow right now. You see that it's all the way at 108. We were getting bearish divergences yesterday, got a bit of liquidations, and right now what I'm looking at is we're above the VWAP, we're above the daily open. That's actually quite bullish, you know, to be above the VWAP, above the daily open. Now you lose the daily open and the VWAP, it's going to get bearish really quickly, really fast. What I'm seeing is that the price going up is declining open interest, so it's basically shorts closing. It's not really longs opening, yeah. It's not longs opening that's pulling the price, it's just shorts closing. You may get a situation when shorts start to load up again and push the price down. So it'd be different if it was longs opening. It's different now. It's shorts closing. But I'm not seeing fuck, what did I do? I'm not seeing at the moment I'm not seeing bearish divergences. I'm actually seeing a little bit of bullish divergence right now. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So while people might be thinking, should I short? Not when you're starting to see bullish divergences, but that means that the CVD is dropping lower. You can see that the CVD is dropped lower than here, but the price is actually higher, which means that the selling is being absorbed by buyers, by limit longs. Okay, so right now is not a good kind of, the order flow is not suggesting shorting at the moment. At the moment it's not, and so you just have to bear that in mind. You see here the CVD this morning, the CVD dropped, but the price, the lows got higher. So there was a little bit of bullish absorption this morning when the price is at 108, and now the price is at 108, but it's like $500 or $600 higher. So there's a little bit of buying going on here. Yesterday there was a little bit of selling, you could tell, because the CVD was going up and the price wasn't. You see the CVD was making higher highs, but the price wasn't, and so naturally it was quite bearish. The price was going down and down and down. Now we're in reverse. We're above the VWAP, above the daily open. That generally, look, the daily open here is already acting as support. So I think the first sign of weakness in my imagination is going to be losing the daily open combined with the VWAP. You lose that, then you're going to start seeing a lot of shorts enter, a lot of longs close, right? So just bear that in mind. But I don't know if this move up is actually healthy. It looks like it's just shorts closing. It's not longs opening. It doesn't look like it. And here you see this OI just went up by a bunch. How much did it go up by? 4.5 mil. That's a short opening there. See that? That's a short opening. A big short's just opened. And these are market. Look, minus 35, 8%, minus 5 mil. See that? So these big shorts are opening now. But they're being absorbed at the moment. So you just got to bear that in mind. So what does that mean on the current charts? Well, look. The price is going up. But it's not really moving that much. So we haven't seen a big move. It's contracting for a big move. I do think down. I don't know why. I just think down rather than up. But that's mainly because we're at the highs underneath the all-time high. But it still needs, you know, the price could always, and this is where I could be wrong, for reasons that I can't usually explain. I'm trying to explain it. This could be like that, you know, or whatever. This doesn't have to be down there. And the price could also kind of just go sideways here. Lower highs until eventually you break and go up. So timing is really important. So for me, somewhere between the 14th of July to the 21st of July is the right time for some kind of pivot low to be put in. All right. So that's Bitcoin.